Hey everyone, we need to remind ourselves how to find x-intercepts of a quadratic function. So you need to think to yourself, where on the graph do x-intercepts occur? Well, they're on the x-axis. Well, what's the function value? The function value is 0. So anytime we find the x-intercepts, the equation needs to be set equal to 0. So here is an example function. We're going to be using f of x equals 4x squared plus 16x minus 9. Okay, so we have dealt with factoring and we have found x-intercepts by factoring. So I wonder, is this a factorable quadratic? Well, let's see. We should always ask ourselves, what is our greatest common factor between these three terms? So our greatest common factor would be, it looks like nothing is in common between a 4 and a 16 and a negative 9. So I would just say 1, which means I don't need to pull anything out. Okay. Again, I said this needs to be set equal to 0. So here is our quadratic function that we are now going to try to factor. I'm going to draw my box. And I know that my 4x squared will go here and my negative 9 goes there. And eventually I need to fill in these two boxes. So 4x squared times negative 9 is a negative 36x squared. I need to find two numbers that multiply to this, but also add to our remaining term here, which is positive 16x. So I need to think, what are some factors of negative 36? Well, there's like 1 and negative 36, or there's 2 and 18, or 3 and 12, 4 and 9. Do any of these add to positive 16? So I'm going to think if I have a negative 18x and a positive 2x, those multiply to negative 36. But if I add them, I'm actually going to get negative 16x. That's not what I want. So I want positive 18x. I want a negative 2x, which does give me positive 16x. That's what I want. So we're going to put 18x here, negative 2x there, and then we just need to factor this box to find the factors of this quadratic. I say what's in common between this first column. Looks like they're both even, so 2, and they both have x's. On the other column, they're both negative, but then doesn't look like there's any other number besides 1. Our first row, they are both even and have x's, so that's going to be another 2x. And then this bottom row, 18x and negative 9, both have x's, and I'm just going to pull out a positive 9. I just need to make sure this 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. 9 times 2x is 18x, and 9 times negative 1 is negative 9. That's perfect. So I've just shown that our factors are actually 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 9. Okay, now since it's set equal to 0, to find our x-intercepts, we just need to set each factor equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to have 2x minus 1 equals 0, and I have 2x plus 9 equals 0. If I add 1 to both sides over here, I get 2x equals 1. If I divide by 2 on both sides, that means x is equal to 1/2. On our second equation, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 2x equals negative 9. Now I also divide by 2 to isolate my x, and I get that x is equal to negative 9/2. Now I know that's probably a weird number for you. So I'm also going to write these as decimals, though you all know fractions are much better. So x, negative 9 over 2, like half of 9, is negative 4.5. So we're just going to keep those in our minds, the decimals, but I'm actually going to prefer these fractions. Okay,